Welcome to Trash Talk. I'm Lane.
I'm D.
I'm James.
And welcome to Trash Talk again. The audience live on Facebook, Protest Edition. We want to start out by just saying some interesting times we're living through right now. There's a whole hell breaking loose. Things are going on. But we're still here. We're here having important discussions, talking about it, doing what Trash Talk does. We listen and we talk and we bring you entertainment. So welcome to Trash Talk, Derek, Chase, and James. Welcome Facebook. How you guys doing?
Thank you.
Oh, it's pretty weird. It's hard to concentrate for a couple days there at work.
Yeah.
Do you actually go into the office?
My couch is my office at this point.
Nice. Yeah, kind of the same lines as Derek. You know, it's just, what can you think, right? I mean, obviously all hell's breaking loose, and it's insane. I mean, that's the only thing I could say about it.
It's insane that we've should have been over this a long, long time ago. And there's always nut jobs, but this point of being so systemic is just asinine.
Yeah. Even Doug says can't, bro.
Or cunt, bro. I mean, I don't know.
Or cunt,
Right,
bro. Can't cunt, bro. You know what? Doesn't it make you just fucking mad as hell?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think this was one of my favorite speeches.
I woke up wanting to see the world burn down just because a city black man died. He casually put his knee on a human being's neck for 9 minutes as he died like a zebra in the clutch of a lion's jaw. And we watch it like murder porn over and over again. So that's why children are burning to the ground. They don't know what else to do. And it is the responsibility of us to make this better right now.
That pretty much says it all, I would say.
Well, kind of along the lines of what Derek said and kind of what Killer Mike was said, is that this is institutionalized and it's systemic. So if that's the case, and if we agree that that's the case, then I'm part of the problem, right? I've sat silently on the sidelines for a long time and allowed people to say things that were borderline at best. But passive racism kills just as easily as overt racism. And I think that's something that we all have to come to grips with, is that people suffer because of the color of their skin, and we don't have to worry about that. And that's the definition in my eyes of white privilege, is that I may have had struggles in my life, but never once has my struggle been because of the color of my skin.
Yeah, agreed. I've always compared it to getting pulled over by a cop, and you're not feared for your life. Yes, you're afraid because it's a cop and they will harass you or something. But I have never once, as a white man, been like, this guy could kill me, you know? And that's something to be aware of, that we have that privilege, that not everyone can have that, you know?
You know, something you said, too, makes me wonder. There's definitely needs to be some sort of police reform. But also just saying that, you know, you think about when you get pulled over by a cop as a white person, you mentioned the word harassed. You know, I mean, you may not fear for getting your life taken from you for something petty, but the fact that you can even say, no matter what I'm getting pulled over for, I'm assuming it's just standard street bullshit. You know, you can still get harassed. I'm going to have to check your car. You know, I mean, at what point can you just say, yeah, you got me for speeding or whatever, but why you got to go digging for gold here, man? And
Exactly.
it's just the general attitude, and then for whatever reason, minorities take it way worse than that. But yeah, I think there needs to be something done about just the general disposition. I would say the mental disposition of a lot of cops.
Sure, but I think that's two different points, but they're both valid, right? I mean, obviously the police there are good cops, right? No doubt about it. Just like there are good everything. But I've seen countless videos on my timeline through Twitter of just not just harassment, like pure abuse from the police during all of this. And obviously there's a lot of things that I'm not aware of because I'm not in those situations at the time, so I don't know what led up to those things. But there is no situation in my mind that a police officer should fire rubber bullets or tear gas or beat people with batons in a somewhat pseudo peaceful protest. Now, granted, there are going to be assholes no matter what you do, right? There's going to be people throwing rocks and breaking windows and doing all this stuff just because, unfortunately there are kids there that lose their mind. They want to impress their friends or what have you. But in the grand scheme of it, 99% of the people there are there for peaceful protest, and they're getting the shit kicked out of them by people who we pay to protect and serve us. I think that Derek is right. There needs to be reform in that sense, but also we can't lose sight of the fact that Black Lives Matter, and that's a separate issue in the fact that not only is it a police issue, this is an economic issue, a social issue. This is a thing that's beyond the scope of just police reform. I mean, people suffer for years. I mean, I saw a meme and it made me kind of laugh, but also kind of made me open my eyes. Is like, if these people are bitching about 12 days of protests, imagine being 400 years oppressed. I mean, it's very difficult to put myself in that situation to even relate to that, because obviously I've never had to deal with that.
Definitely. As for white guys, we really can't say much about oppression,
Yeah, I have no idea.
Jolene here says the problem is the culture of protecting each other. The problem is culture of protecting each other, where, someone just makes a dumb joke or, does some, prejudice shit or something, it's that shit needs to end,
Well, that kind of gets into the police unions too, and how difficult it is to ever prosecute any police officer for any complaint. I don't remember the numbers. I was just reading today. I believe it pertained to either Minnesota or Minneapolis, and in the last X amount of years, they had however many hundreds, maybe even thousands of complaints from citizens on police misconduct, and something like 12, a double-digit number was all that was ever actually saw all the way through and prosecuted on. But it's really difficult to ever stick anything on a cop because just the nature of, I don't know if it's your cities or whatever contract with the police union, or however that stuff works out, but the union basically has some stuff set up where it's very hard to prove in a court of law that a cop is guilty of anything. So when people want to see prosecution, it's hard to do in a lot of different ways.
Well, that's the problem with unions in general, because it is a brotherhood. They call it themselves a brotherhood, where it is the culture of protecting each other. I got your back, you got my back. Hey, don't write a report about what I just did. Yeah,
but the system is also set up that way, right? Because the district attorney has to work hand in hand with police to be able to solve crimes. So if the DA goes after cops, then there could be a disconnect there. So, I mean, we can run in circles of why these things happen consistently, but they have to change. That's the end of the line. And I think what we're doing now, people protesting, people bringing this stuff to light, will ultimately lead to change. But it can't just be a 2-week hurrah, holding hands and singing Kumbaya. This needs to be done at municipality levels. This needs to be done at state levels. This needs to be done at exactly. Voting and getting involved in the system. Just voting by yourself, one vote, and that's the end of it. That's not part of democracy. Holding these people accountable is ultimately what's going to help us change the world for the better, right? Or we could wait it out and hopefully people that don't believe us eventually pass away, right? So there's only two ways of doing it. So the quicker we get involved and really go after this problem with true solutions, the better it will be. But we can't just be Twitter warriors. We have to write our congressmen. We have to write our local, governments.
Use the power of vote in general.
Sure.
It's especially important, though, for a lot of these issues. They're mostly controlled at the state level. So, not just voting for who you want to see as a president, but you need to be paying attention to what's going on in your local community, too.
100%. I agree with that.
When we had the primaries here recently, I know I was even reading about people on the school boards and finding all their information online. That'd be nice.
Thank you, Jolene. I would like.
I mean, we were all thinking it, but I didn't want to say it, kind of thing.
That's fine. Sometimes we just need the comments to say it for us, So yeah, that is one positive thing, though, is that it is making a lot of people active right now. Inspiring the young generation. If anything is positive happening right now.
I feel like the youngest generation that's coming of voting age right now, I think a lot of them have been inspired for a while. I think there's a lot of apathetic people that are probably like mid-20s and older. I'm just kind of guessing, but it just seems like young people just always seem very enthusiastic. And I don't remember a lot of people when I was that age being as broadly enthusiastic about social issues.
Yeah. Well, now, Derek, it's cool to protest. You ain't cool unless you at the protest, okay? That means Chase isn't cool.
I don't want to go down
there. No, I mean, I don't know.
But there's some validity to that, too, right? There are a lot of people that go to these protests just because they want to fit in. Just like on Tuesday, a lot of people posted black boxes in their social media, but they have no intention of actually making a change to make Black lives better.
Those are the people that didn't go to the protests, though, right? Put a little black box up.
Sure.
I'm seeing a lot of people. Their profiles are with black people. It's
like they changed their picture?
Yeah, with a black friend or black people they work with or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's part of the reason I'm posting on social media. I don't know, I just feel like it could be misinterpreted as I'm just posting something on social media and make it seem like I care so much. I'd rather just have more of a, live your life the right way, basically. I don't need to justify it on social media.
Be a racist. How about that?
Yeah.
You don't have to prove everybody that you're racist. Just don't be a fucking racist.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we joke around a lot on this podcast, but I truly believe no one here is racist.
No, I don't want anybody to fucking die because of their color of their skin. That's fucked up.
Right. But that's, overt racism. The passive side is the more difficult stuff, right? That's the stuff that we all deal with. And I know it exists because we utilize, like if you look at movies just in general, they only have 90 minutes to tell a story. Well, they utilize social accepted stereotypes to tell parts of that story. And we accept it. But that's part of the fucking problem. Is that
society as a whole, though?
Sure, right? That's let's just be honest. After September 11th, when a certain type of individual stood up on an airplane, I'm sure everybody's asshole fucking puckered up, right? That's part of what I'm saying is it's ingrained into the way we learn, right? And we can't know everything. It's biological in the fact that we can't know everything. So we utilize patterns set up by the environments that we surround ourselves with, and that's how we kind of tell the story of the world around us, even though, you know, we don't mean to be mean. We don't mean to be this. Those things just happen because it's been ingrained into us, right? I mean, does that make sense, or am I kind of just babbling along? But
No, I got you. I'm following you.
Yeah,
so
I know what
that's
you're talking about.
yeah,
It's
that's
especially because but that stuff changes throughout the years. Because like things that are acceptable in movies, you know, from the 30s of people in blackface is
100%.
definitely not acceptable now.
100%.
Even though like, you know,
well, it's just, I mean, there's implied jokes. I mean, you could talk about all kinds of races when it comes to that, right? Like, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to sound racist, but there's like implied jokes, like white people are nerdy, Asian people are good at math, like all black people have big things in their pants. Those are all implied jokes, but those are ingrained, and that is passive racism by definition, right? I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. And until we start to break those things down and humanize everyone, that we're all human, we all have our own beliefs and goals and values, it's never going to change, right? Even if we pass reform or we vote people in, we have to be the people that make the change. Otherwise, it will never change. Like, we can rely on politicians to tell us what to do and give us the things that we want, but until we actually execute those trades of societal norms, it'll never change. It'll never change.
so that's the thing though. I mean, it'll change eventually one day when like there is no race, right? When all races have kind of combined into one human race. I'm like talking future million years here.
Talking about South Park.
Well, listen, in 150 years, the world's probably going to end anyway because we're idiots about fucking global warming. But that's neither here nor there. There's still people that are our neighbors and our loved ones that are suffering. And I think, as you all have pointed out, it's time to change. And we have to start. Like, we have to take it as a responsibility. Not to quote the pedophile Michael Jackson, but we need to look at the man in the mirror, really.
All right.
I can finish that with a Tahiti.
No, well, I was going to quote another pedophile, Donald Trump, but I think we're going to talk about him later.
Oh,
that's fine. All right.
Tremendous.
Segue there into the White House incident.
I'm sorry, I got distracted by Michael Jackson. That's all I could think about.
You started playing his music, didn't you?
Yeah, it did. It's popped in my head. I mean, where do we even start about? What's that?
Never mind. Just go.
No, say what you gotta say, man. This is your opportunity.
Okay, I said Macaulay Culkin popped into my head for some reason. I don't know.
Speaking of stereotypes.
My bad.
Yeah. Where do we start even with all that?
Well, we've had all these protests, and Trump wants to dominate everybody now.
The battlefield.
Yeah, America's a battlefield, and he's going to dominate it out of his bunker that he ran to. And then and then was later confirmed that he ran into.
He was inspecting it. That's what it is.
Yeah. He's inspected it 2.5 times. What the fuck is a halftime inspection?
Whenever you're scared for your life, because people like this are out in the streets. It's pretty nuts.
So I think the craziest thing about that, I mean, obviously gassing clergymen, especially claiming to be a Christian, that's crazy. But I think something that as Americans we should be embarrassed about is the fact that like the police abused an Australian news organization. That is
all on camera.
Bonkers, right? Because
second time it's happened in the last couple of years.
I didn't realize he was Australian.
Yeah, they were Australian, and it was live on Australia TV. And
it was in their morning time too. Like they're waking up, watching the news, and
wow.
So like literally, when they were moving people back, they punched the cameraman and shot rubber bullets at the young lady that was on the news anchor.
Wow, they weren't doing nothing.
Oh, this guy came in.
They were filming.
With the shield, then he butted in with the end of the shield, knocked the lady back. I mean, they fucked him up, and they were in a little, not a pit per se, but they were in an area that there was multiple media members too.
They were like 20
they were all
feet.
marked.
They were 20 feet away from the actual front line of the protest, right?
Yeah.
So let me just set the scene for you, Chase. There's a church with like a little courtyard, I assume, and some steps and a bunch of people sitting around protesting, hiding in the shade, Preachers are out there hanging out, water, granola.
Not doing nothing. Everybody's normal.
Everyone's just hanging out, sitting there having a good time. Probably some guy with a guitar. Fucking Australia's there doing the news, and all of a sudden just fucking like fireworks rain down on you and fucking tear gas comes in so unexpectedly, and they just ran out of there. It is quite hectic.
Yeah, and then where you went to, the church across the street from the White House, that was like kind of a place of peace during everything. People were going there to get like food, water, medical aid if needed. And so nothing crazy was going on in that place at all. On top of that, Trump's team did not announce with anybody over there that they were coming over. Stories have since leaked out that they were supposed to have. So supposedly they had a plan to tell everybody this was going to happen. I don't buy that. But they never ended up telling anybody. So Will Barr himself went out for a quick inspection, saw the protesters were there. And I remember I watched the whole speech in the Rose Garden before he moved over. And they had the camera set up. Nobody's out yet, so it's just kind of a live feed of just people standing around waiting. And you're hearing flashbang grenades going off in the background. And I remember listening to it live and thinking, like, what the hell? I can't believe they are even allowing that while cameras are rolling. Lo and behold, I'm thinking maybe it's like a ways down the street. It's across the lawn.
A wall of police in Washington, D.C. charging at protesters outside the White House.
Well, so why can't we hear it?
I muted it. I mean, just watch the violence.
Right there. That's the cameraman.
Oh! Yeah.
He was just like...
And he just went out there and started firing tear gas, rubber bullets, and just fucking people up.
He's like acting like he was just in a video game,
Yeah, exactly. And they hit some of the people in the clergy. I don't know if any clergy people got beat up like that, but they got tear gassed. And, people panicking and running and knocking others over and whatnot. And people say all of this just for a quick photo op, but it just amazes me, though, too, that it's all in the name of Christian photo op, and I'm sure that's what Jesus would appreciate is go fuck up those people over there that are demonstrating peacefully so we can take a quick picture with the cross.
Yeah.
Jesus definitely says
so weird in so many levels.
Right. You should play the 13 seconds of him holding the Bible. That may have been the most awkward thing I've ever seen.
I was laughing so hard, and my wife's over there like, "What's so funny?" I was like, "Look at what he's doing. Like, is that not funny to see? Just if you didn't even have the context of what just happened, him doing that in any picture of any context is hilarious."
Yeah.
The way he puts it in his hand and then
Yeah, he's just like, yeah. All right, are we done here? Take it. Melania.
Is that your Bible? It's a Bible, believe me.
Yeah, somebody that was his Bible. It's a Bible.
A Bible. It's like even Chase would be able to hold the Bible better.
I loved all the graffiti pictures. Like, so the White House released a big press thing on social media of him doing the whole walk there, just how fucking awkward he is. It's kind of hefty.
Yeah, was he like weighing it? Like,
but there's all this graffiti everywhere, and half of it says "fuck Trump" all over it. Of course, I didn't leave that in part of the White House editing, but I'm so happy he had to walk.
Why is he doing that?
Mary said
Bible.
It's a Bible. It's a Bible. There are many like it, but this one is mine. I stole it from the hotel room that I had sex with a porn star.
It's
my wife was at.
Just look at that hand gesture of setting it down. It's like he's trying to not melt his face off.
I'm not trying to make fun of people that are on the spectrum of.
I like how he can't turn his neck.
Autism spectrum, but like he's got to have some level of Asperger's. Like, I just don't know if he knows how to actually behave in social situations. like you said, watch him. I just think, like, do you remember that video where he tried to drink a water and he went like this?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got small hands.
I don't know.
I think he's
I don't hate him for that, right? There's many reasons why I hate him, but there's times I actually do kind of feel bad for him because I think he has a mental health issue.
He's been so rich for so long. He hasn't had to like socially interact. He's never showed someone how to open a Bible and like show someone that he knows how to read, you know?
Oh, I guarantee you he chews his food and spits it in his mouth at night and then massages his throat so it can reach his stomach.
Oh, hey,
he swallow food.
Adam Barnes says, what up, Greg? Who's Adam?
I used to work with him. He's a pretty cool guy.
Nice.
Cooler than you, actually.
Does he know how to hold a Bible?
Probably. Better than Trump, yeah.
Will you show me what you're drinking?
This is how Trump turns his head.
Like he's Batman?
Yeah. I'm not wearing hockey pants.
Grab him.
I gave a capstone neck or something.
Grab him by the pussy. That's fucked up.
It's a Bible.
It's a Bible.
He probably thinks he's Batman.
Out of everything going on this week, why there's protests, he is just blind to. It's asinine. And the things...
I don't think he's blind to it. I don't think he's blind to it.
He will not make.
I don't think he's blind to it. I think he's actually insisting that this happens. I think this is part of the agenda.
He is so institutionalized in racism that I don't think he believes he is a racist.
Right.
I think he's just such a fucking idiot. He just does not know social cues. He doesn't understand. He doesn't have empathy. Yeah. He doesn't understand general people. Anything that's more than like, should I have a steak well done or a burger? He's like too complex at that point, and he checks out.
Sure, there's part of that.
Reports of how they have to share information with him. They literally highlight his name because that keeps his attention. Everything has to have colors on it. I mean, it's like teaching a toddler, apparently. And he's like, the most important things the president needs to know that day.
He's completely derped out.
What's up, dudes? This is Adam again. Well, we also have an Eric Knudsen saying, you guys are fake news, President Trump.
Hey, when we get arrested, Knudsen, are you going to represent us? Yeah. Be our lawyer?
Please, we need some good lawyers. Of course you'd call us fake news.
Yeah, he's got a fake hair and fake tan and fake family.
Yeah.
Fake.
It's oh my god. It's just a whole other like level of incompetence in there where I also kind of do believe that it's part of the agenda. Like he wants to sow this much discord among America.
Well, I know this for sure. He's sucking up to his base. You know, his whole photo op holding a Bible in front of a historic church.
But not only that, but like beating protesters. Like his base wants to see that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's lost some though too. You know, like
some of them, yeah.
Some Christians want a leader that knows how to open a Bible, you know?
When you've got 50 protests going on, or protests going on in all 50 states, I mean. And then worldwide, I know they don't count for our votes, but now you got Lisa Murkowski questioning even supporting him this year for his run for presidency again for a second term.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, hardline Republican. She came out today and said she's not sure if she's going to support him or not.
Well, you have his actual chiefs of staff of armed forces coming out, like active in disagreeing with what's happening.
Yeah, was it Miller or one of the guys this past week?
Hold on, one pause on all that. Chase, I'm
gonna get a whiskey.
Kind of weird.
We're talking about panties. I'm gonna go get a whiskey.
What did you and this guy used to do?
He's waiting for a protester, dude. Just calm down.
But he's not wearing panties?
I think that Chase used to hang around truck stops.
I just get fuel there.
That looked like some nice whiskey.
It's a pretty good one. Thomas Handy rye whiskey. It's pretty good.
Like
I'll take a Handy right now.
63% alcohol.
Good Lord.
Your friend Adam's probably getting a Handy, I suppose, without panties on.
So what do you guys think right now with everything that's happening? Does this feel different than Ferguson? Does it feel different than all the other incidences that have happened in our lifetime?
Well, I think a lot of things have accelerated the conversation. I think COVID's part of it, right? I mean, 40 million people are unemployed, and that the large majority of those people are people of color. Then you have to sit and watch a man be murdered on TV because whatever reason he wrote a bad check. Maybe I don't even know if that's true, but nevertheless, he was murdered on TV. People are finally just pissed, and they're so pissed. It's just like anything else, right? Like when your parents disciplined you for so long, eventually you broke out, right?
It's a rebellion happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, somewhere the steam has to go. And I think at this point, this is completely different than Ferguson. Ferguson was about the same subjects maybe, but this is a broader scope, right?
There's more people. That was only in Ferguson,
Sure. Well, there was still
there wasn't
protests in Baltimore. There was protests in Omaha.
There's protests every time it happens, but this is like a tinderbox, Just it didn't take much. I mean, I don't want to say it didn't take much, but I mean, like the entire country was a tinderbox, just waiting with everything that's been happening in the world.
Yeah, when police show up in riot gear, shit's gonna hit the fan.
That happens every year, though.
The other time, though, in Ferguson, Obama was the president. We had a true leader, right? I mean, I'm not a big fan of President Obama, but he at least was a leader and came out and tried to comfort people that are in pain.
Yeah, he could empathize.
And Trump just hides in his fucking bunker like a bitch, right? Like, that's what we all want to say. But I don't know. I think the scope is really broadened out, and I think people finally realize this is like we talked about early on in the episode, this is a systemic and institutional problem. And it's beyond just police brutality. It goes across the entire scope of people's lives. And I think that people are finally fucking pissed, right? I mean, doesn't matter who you are, you're just tired of watching your neighbors get their ass fucking kicked. Whether that's because of poor economic standards or poor educational standards, or some cop pulls them over and fucking beats the shit out of them. I'm tired of fucking watching that shit. Like, I'm not somebody that would get physical or violent, but I can understand why somebody would do that. It absolutely makes me so mad I shake when I watch that stuff. I mean, there was a video that I watched today in Denver of a guy that stopped at a stoplight, and it happened to come upon the protesters, and the cop shot a tear gas canister at his car. His pregnant girlfriend was in the car. He got pissed, stood up, and basically screamed at them, and then they just fucking peppered his car with rubber bullets and tear gas. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like,
that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. Is just this general attitude of a lot of cops they're just, you know, they want to dominate. You know, every situation is a life-threatening situation. We refuse to read the situation because it's assumed that my life is on the line, so I will treat it as such.
Right. Well, and that's the loophole in the law, right? And that's obviously how Jake Gardner got away with his fucking murder. Is that, and it's the same case. If somebody breaks into your house, you cannot honestly just shoot them if you're not fearful for your life. So the line is, obviously, I was in fear of my life, and that's what you continue to repeat. And it's hard to prove intent because it's somebody else's mind, right? Like, we can't break into their mind and understand what they were thinking. But like you said, 12 cases out of all the murders that happened in Minneapolis from police to civilians, 12 of them actually were prosecuted. That's fucking insane.
Well, for context, I wasn't saying murders, just
police killings, right?
No, not killings.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bad behavior or whatever.
Bad behavior. Okay, I apologize. I misheard you then. But even still, right? You're trying to prove something that's unprovable, which is I was afraid for my life. Well, if that's the case,
it's just always he said, she said.
Well, not only that, but if that's truly the letter of the law, then why, if a black person kills a cop when he gets pulled over, obviously they have to be afraid of their life, right? We've even just discussed that today. Like, we've never had to have that fear. Well, they must be afraid every single time it happens. So does that give them free reign to fucking start murdering cops? I don't think so. So, again, that's a whole different tangent, and I know I'm going off all over the place. But
a little bit.
To bring it all back, I think, again, as Derek pointed out, there needs to be some reform in some of the laws that help protect citizens from police and help protect citizens from all kinds of things. But sorry.
Wait,
James, I put a long string on that kite, and I just keep going sometimes.
Wait, James, you're not a cop, are you?
Well, the mustache may say otherwise, but I am definitely not a cop.
Because you have to tell us.
Is that a gun in your pocket, or
I'm just happy to see Derek. Yeah. Well, you've seen it, so it's definitely not a gun.
No, I mean, I think there has already been a little reform. I don't know if this is reform necessarily, but originally they were just going to charge the guy that killed George Floyd, with third-degree murder or something, assault, or third-degree murder, manslaughter. And now they've changed their mind and said that all the other three that were there helping it, essentially, we're going to get second-degree manslaughter.
Yeah, they're fucking holding them down. They should fucking be accountable for it.
Sure.
Exactly. And isn't that like one of those things that you just kind of like assume that's happening, It's like that culture of protecting, other people or whatever. Well, he didn't have his knee on his neck, so he's fine. Keep working, Next time he'll be the guy with his knee on the neck,
Well, and I think that kind of, in my mind, brings up the whole thing that thank God we have smartphones now. A lot of cops, they just got in trouble in Louisville for killing that guy. None of the cops had their cameras on, which they were supposed to have. But, minorities and black people especially have been talking about this for decades. Police brutality, murders by cops, and finally there's enough cameras everywhere that everything's going to be captured more than likely, especially in an urban environment. Someone's going to be filming, some camera on the corner, and finally people that have been talking about this stuff have this proof that you cannot deny.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted by your dog in the background.
Oh, puppy dog.
I think your dog is sick of your shit.
Next subject, because I'm just going to continue to get pissed, please.
Well, yeah. I think it might be interesting to hear what some of figures in culture have been saying, good or bad or otherwise.
Besides Killer Mike, who we heard earlier.
Yeah. Or Drew Brees. How about that?
Yeah, we got Drew Brees. He came out and I don't know the exact question asked of him, but the context was a lot of shit going on right now, a lot of history, things that are involved in football. What do you think about it? And immediately he jumps voluntarily to, I don't support people kneeling for the flag, disrespecting the country or the flag.
So he's a racist now?
No, but I think he lost the point. And now, obviously, with the caveat that says, I don't condone people disrespecting the flag or the country either. But
he's right there doing it.
That protest that Colin Kaepernick was doing had nothing to do with the flag. In fact, that was a gesture that he got from a special forces Green Beretman that said, this is how we, basically not highlight, but how we show support to our fallen soldiers. And so he did it from his initial protest was sitting on the bench, and it probably could be, construed as disrespectful, but nevertheless, like, I've stood up for Colin Kaepernick, even though he destroyed the Packers countless times, with this entire protest, because it was never anything to do with bitching about the country or military people or their flag or anything about that. It was to highlight this social injustice. That's the end of the story. And you want to talk about peaceful protests. That's the most peaceful protest that I've ever seen, to be honest with you. And then people,
Dr. King and Gandhi.
Well, even Dr. King, I mean, there was still violence that was involved in Dr. King's protests. Maybe him not directly, but there was obviously violence.
Well, his whole philosophy was non-violence.
Sure, but
he would
Kaepernick, based a lot of his stuff off that too. I find it interesting that Kaepernick, as much as attention as he got for that, he didn't come out and talk publicly a lot about stuff. He let his actions speak. And I don't think realize how much he contributes to different communities, not even his own, to different groups that need help monetarily through his own personal time and whatever social activism he can get going in those circumstances. Like he doesn't want the spotlight, and it really drove me crazy how many people on the news would say things about he's just trying to get attention. It's like, what has he said? All he's done is a simple gesture, and he does a lot of good for his communities that he wants to help out. I've never seen him try to be an attention person. I haven't interpreted any of what he's done that way, I should say.
Yeah, neither have I. But I mean, it's unfortunate, right? That he was blacklisted from the NFL for peacefully protesting this thing that we're all talking about. And then the NFL goes and posts, every NFL team posts the black square on their fucking Twitter handle yesterday or Tuesday. And
I just came out too. The NFL exec said that they blackballed him on purpose.
Yeah.
Letting him get a job after the NFL denied it for the last few years.
Well, you know that because the Packers had Deshaun Kaiser, who is probably the worst quarterback in our history. We could have signed Colin Kaepernick, for crying out loud.
Everything could have. Still can.
They should. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe he's not physically ready to play football anymore, but he could definitely be part of the NFL.
They're still talking about how he's still working out and wants to play. And for all intents and purposes, he may not be in football shape, which basically means practicing and getting hit. But as far as health-wise, and the body physique he's maintaining, he's good to go.
Who is the defensive lineman that got kicked out of the league for 4 years because he had trouble with alcohol and couldn't stop getting DUIs? He was just
that guy who Dallas just signed.
Yeah,
and then not Bauman. He was with the Raiders for a second.
Smith, I think, is his last name. Maybe.
I think you're right on that.
Either way, he's been out of the league for 4 years, so obviously you could sign somebody. But even if let's say he doesn't live up to his potential.
Bring up a good point though. This guy's an alcoholic, drug-addled person. Supposedly he's turned his life around now. He gets a third or fourth chance now at this point in his career.
Eldon Smith.
Kaepernick took a kneel. He kneeled down for the anthem, and he can't play football again.
Actually, he didn't kneel down for the anthem. He kneeled down for police injustice.
Sorry.
Fuck the Packers. Damn you, Doug. I loved you until now. The Packers are my favorite.
He's a Raiders fan. Just let him dwell.
Charles Woodson was a greatest Packer.
Alden
Smith.
Who's that?
That's the guy we were talking about that had all the alcohol and drug problems.
And
now he's signed with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, he's been out of the league for 4 years. But even if, okay, so let's say Kaepernick, they give him a shot and he can't make it. The least the NFL could do is give that guy like a position that helps spread social messaging, right? I mean,
if he wants to do that, do you think he'd want to do that with the NFL after what they've done to him? They turned it back on him.
Yeah, but again, you can't help progress and change if you shit on everything that never changes.
I'm not saying they should like him or whatever, but I'm just saying like I don't think he'd take it. Maybe he would. I don't know, but it just doesn't seems a little out of character for him from what I've seen.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
He likes playing football and he likes his social justice.
He does like ball. He's from Wisconsin too, by the way. He grew up a Packers fan.
He's from Utah.
You don't think he can play anymore?
He played in Nevada, but he's from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not an NFL scout, so I would have no clue. But I think he has enough speed probably still, and his arm strength was never a question. It was always accuracy.
If Lamar Jackson can do well.
Sure. Well, he's bigger than Lamar. Supposedly he's 1 pound heavier than our president. So, I mean...
What is he? Tight end?
244 pounds.
He's a cornerback.
That's supposedly what Donald Trump is.
Well, he's a pack. Dude,
32.
Kaepernick is a stallion. That dude is built like a brick house. He used to run over Clay Matthews like he was a fucking rag doll. Like it was pretty... It sucked to watch, but...
Everybody ran over Clay Matthews like he was a rag doll.
Shut up. You know who
that guy still playing?
Larry Johnson.
Yeah, that was a big boy.
Clay Matthews is still technically playing. He hasn't signed with anybody. He was playing with the Rams last year.
So what do you think about Vic Fangio and his this week?
Again, but I think that's part of... So I can't remember the young lady that said something about part of the problem is that the culture wants to protect itself, right? But I think, again, if we think about ourselves...
Ew.
Our brains are equipped to think about ourselves first, right? We all have man. All I saw was armpit hair. I'm sorry. So when we strip all of our consciousness away, right? When fear and greed or whatever emotion takes over, our self-interest is our number one mindset, right? It's the thing that we are all equipped with. And then the second thing that we always think about is default, right? The default bias is one of the strongest biases that we all possess, which is I want to just continue to do what I'm doing because it's easy and it's simple. And as long as it doesn't affect me, then why the hell should I care? So Vic Fangio is a prime example. That whole quote from Fangio, which said that I have never experienced racism in the NFL, is a prime example of that thing because he's never experienced it. He thinks it doesn't exist.
Well, is this a white guy?
Yes, he's the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Head coach of who?
The Denver Broncos.
Oh.
This is Jeff. Make it Jeff's favorite.
Yeah. No, I saw that he was in the headlines. I didn't realize that's who he was. Huh.
He's a guy that would stand up and yell, "They took our jobs," right? He's one of those people.
Lane, can I share my screen real quick and play something?
Sure. I don't know. Can you?
I can share screen.
Yeah, share it. Doug wants to talk trash. Dude, I sent you a picture. I don't see it.
Come on.
Yeah, get on here. Let's talk about how the Packers suck so much. Except for we're the second most winningest team since 2000.
I mean, you beat the Raiders, right?
A lot.
Raiders suck.
But what of?
Raiders will be good.
Dude, they got a new stadium.
I'll play that. I'll play something here.
Their stadium looks nasty. It looks so good in Las Vegas. Oh, here we go.
Roomba. All right. I think this is Laura Ingraham and the Ingraham Angle. I'll play this pretty short clip.
I'm going to guess you didn't share your audio.
A new banner. This is a Young Doc alert. NBA superstar LeBron James is talking politics again, and this time it's R-rated. Here's his barely intelligible, not to mention ungrammatical take on President Trump in a new ESPN podcast.
The number one job in America, the point of person, is someone who doesn't understand the people and really don't give a about the people.
But wait, there's more gripping insight.
Hang on. So,
dude, Karen needs to shut the fuck up.
Well,
I hate
outside of that, she also goes on to then this is a composite clip. She'll go on to Drew Brees and talk about how he's entitled to his opinion when he talked about kneeling. So the tweet was that at one point in this video, she tells LeBron and Kevin Durant to shut up and dribble, and then goes on to say Drew Brees is entitled to an opinion.
Sure. I mean, and obviously that is a prime example.
One guy's white.
Yeah, well, obviously, and the whole point of their show, all of their shows, to me, is hypocrisy, right? Because even CNN and MSNBC, their entire profit motive is to gather attention, and the easiest way to do that is just to feed into who watches it. I mean, if you watch Rachel Maddow, who I agree with a lot, you can tell that she's utilizing language that just runs your emotions higher and higher. So it just gathers your attention. But again, that person is a fucking asshole. Like the thing about Maddow, at least she's trying to do things for the betterment of other humans other than herself.
She's sensational, though. You know,
she absolutely is. There's no doubt about it. So
mostly all are.
Yeah, I mean Anderson Cooper, sensational. I mean. The travesty, and this is going to go way back, and this is part of my whole conspiracy theory type of mind, is that obviously the 3,100 people that passed away initially from September 11th were a tragedy, but part of the other tragedy is that we have fed into the cable news model. I mean, after that happened, they realized that they could suck us in with bullshit fucking breaking news and red lights and all this fucking shit that happens on the news.
Remember the O.J. Simpson trials in CNN? That's how they got.
Sure. But Fox News really does it over the top, and it's almost like comical at this point. Like, you knew she's going to come out there and say Drew Brees has the right to his opinion, because that's part of the allure for her audience, is that they're racist without being overt. Does that make sense? Like they speak between the lines, if you will, right? So
like Trump does to his voters.
Sure, maybe. Yeah, he uses a lot. Yeah, he uses.
I think he stumbles into that shit though. I think he's too dumb.
Yeah, but I don't. Well, right. I think he is a puppet. I think Stephen Miller writes a lot of his fucking speeches, and
he barely reads his speeches though. He goes off topic constantly.
Well, he just says language that he knows that are going to get a reaction, like build the wall and we're going to beat up protesters. Yeah, lock her up, all that shit.
Grab him by the pussy.
I mean, that's something that's insane. It still baffles me that he became president after that came out, but whatever.
Butter emails.
That was a perfect storm, 2016, but never mind. Let's what's the other subjects that we're talking about tonight? I know there was something about history repeats itself.
Yeah, I think Wayne needs to talk about that one.
I like that.
Do you see what? But originally, obviously, we all know that. So we want to talk about Omaha's past repeating itself, or just riots going on in Omaha in past lives?
There was a riot here a long time ago?
1919. 99 years ago.
More than that. 99. That's
101.
101 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. So, least we forget the lynching of William Brown, Omaha's 1919 race riot. The shit fucking reads like a fucking Hollywood movie. Like, I've honestly, as a filmmaker, have always wanted to turn this into a movie.
Hey, was this the mayor? Was that the cowboy guy?
No. It's funny enough, this was right after the cowboy mayor's
what's his name?
Retirement. Cowboy Jim or something.
Yeah.
Omaha's mayor, Cowboy Jim, that was like the mayor for 4 fucking terms and was like a badass dueling people in the streets. No, this is 1919. The newly elected Mayor Edward Parsons Smith is elected, and he's a reform mayor where he's trying to fucking revamp shit, change things around. And
like a progressive mayor?
Essentially. Wants to reconstruction, like building things up and everything. And where's the other fucking Denison? Anyone know who I'm talking about?
Sounds like Denison, Iowa.
Nope.
He was a mob guy, wasn't he?
Tom Denison was a big-time mob boss of Omaha. He was essentially Omaha's Al Capone for like 30 years. I mean, 1919 was right after Prohibition and everything.
Spanish flu.
Yeah, they had a bunch of he was in cahoots with a bunch of Omaha local community officials where they're basically sweeping things under the rug for the Vice Group in Omaha. So he basically had a lock on crime, or not crime, but he was the one doing the crime, and all the city officials were allowing this to happen. But then we hired or elected a new progressive mayor, and those people didn't like it, and then they went on to lynch someone, if you want to continue, Lane.
Well, it sounds like you did read it. I didn't think you read about much of it.
I read it in front of you.
Yeah, okay.
We read it together, bro.
I read it to you. Yeah, basically, they sounds like, for all intents and purposes, they framed this innocent, well, presumably innocent black man, Will Brown, for raping somebody, some white woman. And there was a big headline of, I think they said, monstrous black man rapes woman. And they used it to start a race riot to quelch down social uprisings and get people fired up to reelect somebody that they wanted that was more of that right-wing type person.
Essentially. I mean, they tried hanging the mayor.
What the fuck?
The mob tried to hang the mayor and was like saved. He was saved by some vigilante or something.
Jesus.
I mean, imagine if that happened today. Although, I mean, I don't like Jean Stothard, but I'm not going to let her get lynched.
Get lynched, yeah.
I don't want to hang her.
So Derek did a nice job of setting the stage. Essentially, there was a crime committed. Some lady was raped. Tensions were boiling over in Omaha. There was the newly elected mayor who also had his own print fucking newspaper, whatever the fuck that is. Like his own newspaper of propaganda, kind of like Trump and Twitter.
Fox News.
And Fox News, yeah, and all that. But like back then. So, I mean, I kind of just want to read what Wikipedia says about it because it just goes into some fucking insane shit that you wouldn't think happened in downtown Omaha.
I think the crazy part though is, they it sounds like they set up this black guy. The evidence that they collected to say that this guy was the guilty party was they went and talked to some random person on the street and they said, well, there's a black man that lives over there. And then they arrested him. And the way it sounds is that they did not like the mayor that got elected. He was too progressive. They called left-leaning people at the time goo-goos. So they had this whole newspaper that supported goo-goo stuff. And so the people that were in power previously that were empowering crime in Omaha because everybody was getting money under the table, incited a race riot to make other people say vote in a more right-wing way. We need to squelch down on.
No, I mean it's the whole law. It's the law and order agenda. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
Nixon. It's Trump. It's
the whole thing up to swing an election and get people in power that they wanted, so that crime could continue in Omaha because all those people were just living off dirty money.
There was a big conspiracy because it was essentially set up by the Dennison with his own paper and propaganda. Dispelling information. But shit gets nuts because within a couple hours, there's probably about 1,500 people surrounding the courthouse downtown with cops. That's where the jail was at the time. And there was, police officer lines out front trying to prevent people from in it. And I just love how it says they started throwing bricks and sticks, anything they could find. We're stealing the caps and badges off of police officers just standing there. And eventually broke into the basement of the courthouse and started climbing up into it, just mere chaos, within a couple hours. Had the gas station next door. They had actually cut the fire hoses that the police tried to use to get rid of the crowd, the mob, and use the fire hoses from the gas station to light the courthouse on fire.
Legitimately, it sounds like, I can't remember the name of the fire, but how the Nazis became in power, right? They intentionally set something on fire, and then they use that to promote themselves to get into power.
And remember, this is just a mob of people, where it does say that there are leaders.
So what you're saying, are you implying that our current leadership, not Omaha's leadership, but our current
federal leadership
has utilized propaganda to basically bolster themselves into power?
Propaganda nowadays.
Everyone uses propaganda. I think that's
what
Derek said.
Absolutely, they do, right? The easiest way to coup d'etat is through changing hearts and minds, right?
Exactly.
Well, and I think the scary part, though, is that people died. One probably innocent man, I'm assuming, I don't know what happened with Will Brown. I know he got arrested, but I'm sure. Oh, yeah, he got lynched, right?
Yeah, not just Will Brown, but plenty of other people were
yeah, and this is to an asinine level. And this is stuff that still happens in the world today.
This is also when downtown,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Omaha was very small at this time when there was hardware stores and pawn shops. That's all that was downtown. It was just downtown. Dundee was West Omaha at that time, So they say more than 1,000 revolvers and shotguns were stolen. 1,000, more than 1,000, from the pawn shops and hardware stores that night for this mob. And essentially the mob, I don't know if they had speaker phones or whatever, but the cops that were stuck on the roof of the courthouse were able to communicate with the mob, and they said, we're going to give you Brown. I mean, they obviously said some, Tory terms back then, but they gave Will Brown over to this mob, and they essentially just hung him up on a streetlight and lynched him.
Wow.
And even it says everyone shot him up while he was up there. They were trying to hang the mayor, and even at one point had a noose around his neck and getting pulled through the crowd, and somehow the right people grabbed him and got him out of there before he got lynched. Went up going to the hospital. There was all sorts of formaldehyde that they lit on fire and threw in the courthouse. Like the elevator shaft was burning. Cops thought they were all going to die. Apparently, they let a bunch of women through the mob, black and white, to safety. But also, besides lynching William Brown for probably no reason, there was plenty of other minorities that just got assaulted that day, you know, pulled off of streetcars. It mentions the streetcar in Omaha. And saying, you know, they just weren't allowed to be like safe or whatever, or walking around. And they actually had to like post up a bunch of places at the community services in North Omaha to keep people safe. Yeah, it's just
pretty much 100 years later, pretty much.
I mean, not the exact same thing, but history is repeating itself. You know, there is.
You're not that bad.
Racial tensions boiling over. Not that bad. A kid got shot last weekend.
I mean, you're not. People ain't taking a black guy and hanging him in the fucking street. I mean, shooting,
choking him out to death in the street.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar. We've come a long way, but we have not come enough. You know, it's like we all paid attention in the 60s and got the civil rights. You know, everyone should be equal, but yet it wasn't equal.
Nice push, Derek.
Yeah, I heard that. Anyway, that's kind of it. I mean, like, a lot of people condoned Omaha for this race riot, and that, like...
Well, it wasn't the only race riot. I mean, in the 60s, there was a race riot.
Well, no, in 1919 was the Blood Summer, I think is what they call it, where there were riots all over the nation, kind of just tensions boiling over, you know.
But again, look at the similarities, right? I mean, you're talking about people stuck in their homes because of the Spanish flu, and now all of a sudden everybody's stuck in their home because of COVID, and then all these things start boiling over. The unfortunate part about 1919 is it wasn't all broadcast to everyone to see, because it's not just, you know, what happened in Minneapolis. There's things that happened in Georgia this year where 2 vigilantes, as they call themselves, killed an innocent black man. Louisville, there was a guy that gave barbecue free to cops that was just shot randomly because they thought they heard a gunshot. I mean, these things continue to happen. And again, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't want to keep reverting back to all psychology, but there was a book I read about why don't we learn from history. I can't remember who wrote it, but essentially it all comes back to the fact that we all think that we know answers in our own minds, right? That we think that there takes no effort and experience and learning to find truth, but that's not true, right? We know that if we sit back and logically think about it. But the unfortunate part is one of the most addictive things that we all consume is confirmation, right? The minute somebody says something that we agree with, and that's how social media works, right? That's why I post something and then 40 people like it. I feel good about myself because I made a point that people other than myself like. We're all addicted to it. We're all victims of our own foolish behavior. We're all victims of our own. That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting.
That's on Wikipedia. That's
fucking ridiculous.
Look at these, just like, I don't know if you guys can tell, these like smiling faces in the background.
Well, I mean, think of like Emmett Till and all these other murders that happen. Murders. They were actual murders, right? Because they kill innocent young men who happened to cross paths with the wrong fucking people. And as Chase pointed out probably about 30 minutes ago, just don't be a fucking asshole. Like, how hard is that? Like, we don't have to read a fucking Bible that tells us that we shouldn't fucking rape people. That's not, like, we should know right from wrong. And whatever reason, whatever we do to conspire in our own minds about what right and wrong is, I just think that if we were more open-minded and listen to understand versus then listen to react, then maybe we would be better. I mean, I don't know. I'm still learning myself. I'm only 9 years old, right? I'm not an old man. I'm not a young man, but there's things that I'm trying really hard to be better at. You know, marrying into a family of color is something that I've learned a lot about things, right? Including DACA and how people treat Mexicans. And it's eye-opening. I'm not going to lie. And I'm sure Derek deals with the same thing with his wife. And I'm not saying that like we hold ourselves to a higher pedestal because of that, but it definitely opens your mind to another world that I didn't know existed before that, if that makes any sense. Like when I start to try to understand things, I loosen my ego and I try to get better. And that's like, to Chase's point, I think if we just wanted to be better people and be good people, shit like this wouldn't happen. Like, there's no reason Willie Brown, or that's his name, Willie Brown, should have died that way. Will Brown should have died that way. That's fucked up. That's absolutely fucking insane. Think about this. That man had sisters and brothers and kids and moms and dads, and they had to fucking bury their family member after being shot, lynched, and burned. Like, fuck that shit.
So, no, that's the sad thing, actually. This image is recent. That didn't even exist until 2007. He was buried in a pauper's grave with just like, you know, dragged through the streets, shot at, burned, and just, I'm surprised that someone even dug a hole and put him in, honestly, you know. But
where's that at?
Pottersfield Cemetery. I think that's up north.
A lot of these conversations are extremely uncomfortable, but they're needed. But they actually just make me more angry. And I'm not sure if that's normal or if that's what you guys are feeling.
I think that there's, you know, as white people, you don't know what you don't know. That goes for everybody. You don't know what you don't know. But not everybody has experienced life the same way and certain privileges that we have gotten to. And you may never understand what somebody else has gone through, but you can at least listen and have empathy from where they're coming from. And I think that's kind of a big important takeaway that a lot of people need to have, that, you know, it's not just people saying bullshit, you know, they're living,
right,
experiencing stuff. And you may not understand, but you can empathize and listen and try to correct what you can correct.
That is correct.
Amen.
Yeah. I don't want to get emotional, but yeah, that's a good point, man. That was really good. What are you drinking, Lane?
Just some wild turkey.
Nice. 101, or is it just a plain?
Basic.
Nice. I like wild turkey. It's good whiskey.
I had to fill up this mysterious
decanter-looking
decanter you can't see.
Did you get it from Amazon?
No, it's actually from my grandma. It's from a church, though.
Oh, wow. So it's like...
Hold up your beer bottle.
I drank all my beer.
Hold the bottle up.
It's gone. I threw it away.
It floats. He was doing that.
It was green. You couldn't see it.
One show you should definitely wear a green shirt. How about what? I'm sorry, Chase.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I was just going to try to cheer everyone up. How about them Huskers?
I saw a video. They had a promo video. Everybody coming to camp with masks on, so they must be doing some type of training.
They're practicing, huh?
I saw that. I mean, I'm not a Husker fan, but that's kick-ass. I mean, obviously, all
college football.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a fan of football, fan of golf, fan of basketball, fan of baseball. I want it all to restart. Obviously, I want everyone to stay healthy, but, you know, when I spend 6 hours watching Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Tiger Woods, and Phil Mickelson play golf.
Was that even fun?
Yeah.
4 hours?
Football would be even better. It was 6 hours long.
Oh my!
But
God.
I was like enthralled because it was live sports, and I've watched some Korean baseball, and it's fucking fun. I mean,
something.
There's something to the art of competition that I think brings us all together. And even as Doug pointed out, how he thinks the Packers suck, I just think there's this camaraderie between fans that, yeah, he's white. I don't know what that means.
He said that a while
ago.
Touche. Touche. But I just think there's something to the camaraderie of fans. Even like, I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I remember being in Derek's dad's basement watching the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. It was something special to me, even though I'm not a Chiefs fan. I just thought it was really kind of a cool moment to get to celebrate with them. And I miss sports. I miss sports.
Celebrate. Yeah.
Yeah, I miss sports.
I mean, because someone would have won March Madness and be celebrating right now. You know, someone. I don't know if anything else. Is the NHL supposed to end already or something?
June, yeah. I mean, it'd be in the
NBA and NHL playoffs usually happen.
As a Wisconsin sports fan, obviously this is the year that COVID happens because the Bucks would have definitely won the NBA championship. The Badgers probably would have went to the Final Four. Like, all of these things keep continuing to happen to us.
Doubtful.
What about the
Way to make it all about you.
College World Series sucks that we're missing out. I mean, I'm sure Omaha is suffering financially.
My house value went up $32,900 or something. And I guarantee you it's because the city's like, shit, we lost out on baseball. We had to close everything down for COVID-19.
So
we got riots going on. So let's jack up taxes and everyone to make up that surplus because nobody can ever fucking plan for anything. They have to spend every last fucking dollar they have.
But that's how they're going to.
But it's written in the law. It's written in the law. They have to balance the budget regardless.
So that's how they're going to make money for the roads too. They're taxing the property owners to pay for the new pothole fixers.
Well, I voted yes for that stuff. That was supposed to be something like 35 cents for every $100 or something like that. I think is what the tax was.
Yeah,
but I think the new law too is
over $32,000 in house value.
Mine went up significantly too. It went up like 50,000. What sucks too is it's my taxes are like $9,000 a year. It's pretty significant.
Another $2,000 then or something, right?
Yeah, $2,000. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh. Thank you, Mayor Gene.
Yeah. Thank you, Jesus, too. Well, I mean, I am a different cat when it comes to that. Like, I can bitch and moan about taxes. I don't necessarily agree with wherever it goes all the time, right? Like, I don't think our cops should be dressed like military members, but I also have a lot of luck in my life and a lot of good blessings, and the fact that I can afford to pay those things. So taxes never really bother me. I think that taxes should be celebrated, and the reason that they're not is because the greater public doesn't get the benefit of the tax revenue, right? And what I mean by that, and we can go into a longer discussion about this, are things like social programming, right? Like healthcare should be free for everybody. Education should be standard across the board. Like if I send my kid to Elkhorn South or West Side, they should get the same education if I sent them to Omaha Northwest or Bellevue East. I mean, it is a pseudo caste system that we have developed in this country where certain people continue to get and some people
don't get.
Right. I mean, certain people just don't get, and that's bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
And I get that I do pay higher taxes, and there could be a valid argument of like, well, I pay more, so I should get more. But that's not the fucking way. That's not how taxes should work. Taxes should work because we're part of a society and we're part of a community, that taxes should be spread, that the more fortunate should help out the less fortunate. That's how it should work, right? It should be a more philanthropic effort, but it's not. It'll never happen because the owners of society don't want that to happen, unfortunately. And trust me, I'm not, even though I pay an exorbitant amount of money for my property taxes, I am not even close to an owner of society.
What do you mean by owner of society?
So Chomsky talks a lot about owners of society. These are the people.
Chomsky?
Do you know who Noam Chomsky is?
Yeah, of course. I'm just making sure Chase does.
Nope.
So,
I'm listening.
I know you don't.
So Chomsky is a linguist professor from MIT. He's been quoted as one of the most genius political minds, well, especially on the liberal side, right? He's very liberal.
Yeah.
But he talks about that, what I just talked about, which is that tax day is a doomsday in America. And the reason being is because we don't get to decide where the tax money goes. The tax money is decided by Congress, who's put there by major interest, by people who donate more money to McConnell or Pelosi or whoever. That's how they get there. And then they are returned in favor, getting laws that favor them, that will continue to favor them. And that's why small businesses, middle class and lower class people continue to get the shaft. And these major corporations major corporations in very, very wealthy families continue to get the pass, right? So it is capitalism at the bottom and socialism at the top. And that needs to reverse, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if we live in a free market capitalist society, we should all have to play by that rule. And then part of the tax of being that society and benefiting from that society is that we should take care of those people who can't always take care of themselves. And that's why I'm a big advocate of education for equal by all. And I'm a massive proponent for Medicare for all. I think from a financial planning standpoint, it's one of the biggest bills that most of us will ever have to pay is our own well-being. And I think that's bullshit that, especially right now, right? If you get COVID and you go to the doctor, if you don't have good health care, then how are you going to pay that bill? Like, that's what most people are worrying about. But they should never worry about that. They should go, oh my God, my throat hurts. I'm going to go to the doctor to prevent passing this to the people I fucking work with. And not only do they worry about healthcare, but then they got to worry about their job. Like, is their job going to be lost because I'm out for 2 weeks because I got COVID? And I don't want to spread it to my coworkers because they may die from it. Like, I just think that's a fucking asinine fucking way to live. I just think it's bullshit.
Would you think that's a liberal way to look at it? But isn't that just rational?
Rational,
well,
yes.
That's the way it's supposed to work anyways. Supposed to.
Well, there's a quote, and I forget who said it, but when did the truth become liberal, right? I mean, it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just the world we live in, where everything has
I've hijacked your podcast. I'll shut up for like 10 minutes.
No, it's fine. But that's the world we live in, where everything just kind of has to fall into a category. You're either this way or you're that way, you know?
Right. Tribalism.
Yeah, for sure. Tribalism, state nationalism, you know? It's where you fit with. Mob mentality still, you know?
Well, I mean, why do you even have to put a label on whatever you believe? Why can't you just say, I support this and that and whatever, and you vote for whoever you agree with the most? But
why even talk about it? Did people talk about politics and religion back in the day?
Yes.
No,
yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I mean, look at the 60s. Look at, like, 1919. They fucking murdered somebody because they didn't agree with the mayor that was elected. Like, this has been the way since the beginning of time.
Magna Carta. Jesus.
Fucking religion.
The Illuminati, bro.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Do you think any of the chaos, rioting, looting has been set up?
Yes.
Oh, they've already shown that there was a bunch of stuff going around online right now where supposedly Antifa was spreading all this information. And I don't know, I think it was Instagram identified these handful of accounts that were identifying with Antifa and mobilizing or trying to mobilize people.
There was Twitter.
Destroy property came from a right-wing group.
Yeah. By the way, who is labeled as a terrorist organization?
Antifa, KKK.
Not Antifa. This right-wing organization you're talking about. But
I'm not aware of any right wing off the top of my head that is, but
KKK is.
They're not. No, they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
That's fucking crazy.
Because Trump just labeled Antifa that, and a bunch of people got up in arms and said, "But not the KKK."
Man, that's fucking. That's fucked up.
What is?
Antifa was just labeled terrorist organization by Trump. And
what's the law group? The Southern Poverty Law Group or something?
Law Center or something like that?
Yeah. They have shown data points that right-wing fundamentalists are greater risk to your well-being than even Middle Eastern terrorism. But they are not labeled terrorists? Like, that doesn't even fucking make sense to me.
Well, look at a lot of people that are in power. Unfortunately, in America, they tend to lean that way.
I want to know this. Who is this man?
Is that the guy that had... no, he was a police officer. They've already said that. I thought that's...
I mean, I think that was still suspected, right? If they're all just asking him, who are you? Aren't you a cop? Or some stuff or whatever.
That happened at AutoZone. And they found like a earpiece in his ear.
There's a photograph, whatever. Smash the windows and then drive off.
Well, this guy was a cop that was going around smashing windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hearing about these white people dressed in all black going around smashing windows. I hadn't seen any video or pictures of it.
This guy right here.
Dressed in all black like the Omen.
Casually walks up to a AutoZone, starts breaking windows. Wearing this fucking like weird getup.
What is going on too with all these stories I'm hearing about with...
Who just farted again?
That was me.
How can you talk and fart at the same time? That is impressive.
Oh.
Oh, you can hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, we got
Doug!
Oh, am I on now?
What's up, Doug?
Finally. Sorry, I didn't know how long
Doug,
you
it's
waiting.
nice to meet you virtually.
How you doing, buddy?
Packers suck.
Hey,
I get
you know
it.
what? Yeah. Thanks for
Oh,
reminding
he's skipping.
me. Doesn't matter. Well, what's going on, man? How you guys doing?
Hopefully you're enjoying the conversation and I'm not embarrassing myself.
No, you know what, dude? Who cares, dude? It's Omaha trash talk. Everything goes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
What are you up to today? Enjoying this weather?
We're here discussing it, you know? We're out here talking about life.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna tell you what's up. Because I'm sick and tired of this fucking shit, man. I fucking hate talking about racism because the reason there's racism because we keep talking about it, you know? I'm fucking tired of it, man. I'm tired of this bullshit, dude. I dated. It doesn't even matter who I dated, but it's just the fact is like I have all fucking race of friends, all fucking race of friends, and it's all by choices. It doesn't matter who the fuck you are. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. It's all by choices. Because I was a bad person at one time. Guess what? I was a bad fucking Hispanic man, bad Latino. Guess what? I told myself, I'm not going to go down that road because I'm tired of being a bad person. Guess what? That motherfucker that jumped in that guy's back and got shot, he did a choice. That guy that shot him in the fucking neck, he did a choice. Guess what? It's all by choices, man. It's all about controlling your fucking feelings. So this is why fucking comedy teaches people, dude, chill the fuck out. And just chill the fuck out. It's just like, thing is like people get too much in their feelings, they react too much on it. You know what I'm saying? So like fucking all I'm saying is like if people would just fucking do better choices, instead of fucking rioting and fucking throwing bricks at fucking people's windows, you know what I'm saying? People would do there's protesting and there's fucking vandalism. There's a difference. And people know the difference. They're just fucking being stupid about it and doing choices that they shouldn't be doing. And guess what? Cops have to do their job.
Yeah. Like, let's break.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right to be fucking kill that motherfucker Floyd on the street. I'm fucking all about that. Fuck that motherfucking cop. You know, because I've had my fucking neck to the cement by a fucking trooper one time. Guess what? But I was being a piece of shit before that. I was talking shit to him. I told him, take off your fucking uniform, you piece of shit. I was calling him out. So everybody does choices. I'm just sick and tired of it. Now I posted up some fucking stupid joke, and now people are offended about it. I got unfriended on Snapchat. You know what? If you can't handle it, get the fuck off, you know. But if I was getting paid millions, oh shit, that shit. They took it off. Right.
What was the joke?
It's so it's fucked up, but it's funny. You know, it's like it says, I only date black women because I don't get to meet their fathers. And it's me with a black girl, like it's a snap cut of my face on some white guys, you know. But I was making fun of Chase. Nobody said anything about it. Him being a white gangster. And I was making fun of Hispanics about the wall. Like, dude, I make fun of everybody. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, I took the model from fucking South Park. South Park has the best fucking like show because they make fun of everybody. Nobody's left behind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's the thing. It is a joke because you're not obviously, you know, out there fucking.
I gotta pee.
Same here.
Protesting against it and shit. Oh, see you later, guys.
Let me tell you something why I don't hate people anymore. Hate is a strong word. Hate is fucking strong word. And I fucking hated two people, and guess what? They ended up dying. And I never got the chance to say sorry to them, and I felt so fucking bad. I felt so horrible. So I stopped hating people. And you know what I started hating? I started hating myself more and started criticizing myself more. You know, where I got to work on myself, you know? Guess what? When you start doing that, you become a better person. You start becoming a better person. You become a good person. Because it's easier to be a good person than a bad person. You know? The reason why I don't go protest is because, not because I don't care, it's because I know what I'm capable of. If I start seeing people that can't defend themselves, guess what? I'm going to jump in. You know?
People trying
to... I start seeing... Well, cops right away. If something happens, I must jump in and defend them real quick. If I see anybody get hurt, I'm going to jump in real quick. And I hate the fact that people suffering, you know? And that's why I don't go. Because I know I'll get in trouble. I know I'll go to jail. So,
yeah.
You know, and then maybe I did that joke at a bad time, but, you know, it's kind of trying to prove a point. Like, you know what, man? People got to lighten up a little more. You know, people's feelings are getting involved way too much, and they forgot about the fucking purpose of fucking protesting. No more fucking looting, you know? Fuck that shit.
I think it's a time right now at this very moment where people don't want to joke about stuff.
Well, I think Doug's point is valid completely. Like,
yeah.
Because, well, think about this. Like, when emotions are involved, studies have showed that, like, when true emotion is involved, like fear, we become stupid, right? So, like, if you're fearful, you do stupid things. Like, if somebody backs you into the corner, it doesn't matter what you are, you're gonna fucking go nuts. And if you're greedy, same thing. So, I think his point is valid. And to his point about comedy, just because you got a big dick, Chase, doesn't have to talk. You don't have to fucking brag about it. But like,
we know it's a lie. We know it's a lie. So.
I'm fucking pissed now.
But like what Doug said is true. I mean, a lot of healing comes from comedy. I mean, laughter is the easiest way. Like when I go to a funeral, like back in my home state, my hometown, we just make fun of shit. We make fun of the person that just died and we think about all the funniest shit that happened. We don't think about the sad shit. Like, it sucks to say goodbye, but we think about all the happiness. And Doug brings up a great point, right? And we've been very emotional on this podcast so far, I think. At least I have. I'll fully admit that. but there is light in the world, and light does overcome dark always, right? I mean, we learned that from Star Wars and Space Force.
Thank you for using Star Wars to reference.
Right. I get you now because you said that.
Yeah.
I'm a Star Wars fan. So.
Yeah.
There is no race difference in Star Wars.
Except for Jar Jar Binks. That motherfucker was a piece of shit, dude.
Well, he was just a Gungan, though, so... Dirty Gungan.
Gungan style.
Just skunka. Fucking skunka. Maybe I got in this conversation late, but it's just I'm so fucking frustrated. Like the last, I kept seeing this shit, man. I was so frustrated because I've been through. I remember seeing the LA riots. I was too young for that shit to understand what's going on, but I just remember seeing that shit. It was scary because I remember ashes coming from the sky. That's how fucking bad it was.
Wow.
And I grabbed an ash and I asked my dad, like, "What's that?" He's like, he told me they're burning buildings. But he went to do his work, his job. He was an ice cream man. And when we were going to the fucking ice cream truck, I just remember fucking Vons getting on fire, Ralph's, buildings left and right. Even that, I was 4 years old.
Wow.
But I remember this shit like vaguely. I remember one time we drove by a Vons with my aunt and my mom, and I could just feel the fucking heat off the fucking mirror, from the fucking glass. And
Damn.
I ducked. My mom was like, I got you. Like, duck. I just put my arm up. It was fucking hot. And the fucking gangsters were making sure we weren't white. Guess what? If we were white, they're going to pull us out and kick our ass.
Right.
But then they saw there was kids, us, they're like, keep going.
Mira,
but
vámonos.
It was so I'm just saying, like, this shit it's not new to me, but it was still scary to me,
Sure.
Because it was not only Omaha, it's fucking worldwide. And here's the thing that really fucking irritates me. It's like people know how I am of a clown, and I'm fucking around with a joke here and there, but but thing is, like, people got to realize this is gonna pass, and good things are happening. I guess I heard that the fucking case is gonna get reopened, and this prosecutor fucking murder charges,
Yeah, we haven't talked about.
And I know the guy. I can't.
They're gonna turn it over to a grand jury to decide.
Say that again, Derek. I didn't hear you.
Supposedly, that Jake Gardner, is that his name?
Yeah.
Supposedly, he skipped town and drove up to California yesterday.
No,
right before they announced everything officially.
Well, and again, listen, I don't know the law. I'm not smart enough. I'm not a lawyer. Talk about the worst.
Told him to get out of town.
Talk about the worst person to do that, right? Like, it's widely known within that community that guy is a fucking racist, homophobic asshole. And
if you're LGBTQ or any minority, apparently,
right. By the way, I'm all for chipping in to make that the gayest of the gay bars of all time. And that's
you like him in the butt.
Talk about it.
That's fine, because I'll never go. I'm not going back to the Hive if he owns it.
They got kicked out. They got kicked out. They got kicked out of the building.
Oh, really? I never heard that.
Yeah, he was evicted.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was evicted the day after they announced. Yeah.
Good.
There you go, Doug. There's your opportunity.
I'm glad they're going to the grand jury with that.
All right, maybe I'll open a bar.
Just serve 40 shots, and then he's out there saying that he was worried about his life. Like, give me a fucking break, man. You're gonna flash a piece and fire a couple rounds off, and say you're in fear for your life.
Not only that, they never announced the toxicology report. Like, he was in a bar the whole day. Like, you don't think he was drinking? You don't think like all of these things?
All the previous infringements he's had on his concealed to carry permit, driving infractions, he had domestic abuse.
It's outdated.
History of just being a fucking hothead.
Yeah, Doug's right. It was outdated. It was illegal to conceal a firearm.
So what's the fucking point of having a fucking permit?
And said they weren't even going to charge on that. And it's like he just murdered somebody. And the one crime you can get him on, he won't even do that.
Okay, so let me paint you a picture really fast. So about a month or 2 months ago, and on 180th and Q, a kid walked in and started shooting. I don't know if you remember that. He shot at a car in the pharmacy drive-through, and then he shot inside the store, and somebody tackled him to save people. I'm telling you right now, if Derek and Lane and we're all downtown protesting and that motherfucker starts shooting, I'm tackling that motherfucker too. Period. Like, I'm going to do that.
Right.
So, like, how do you not know what James's fucking intention was to save his friends? So how do you, like, that's where I, like, the law.
Well, that's what we just talked about earlier too, was intent. How do you prove that? But then apparently if you're a minority, you don't get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, the minority, he was trying to choke him out. But, like, if it were me, I'm a hero, right? That's fucked up.
So that's they call white privilege.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the whole jury, you know, right? I say, but I don't believe in it. But that's the kind of obvious, you know, white privilege is, you know.
I 100% believe in white privilege. Listen, Doug, my wife is Mexican. I have never dealt with some of the shit she's had to deal with ever, right? Because of the color of my fucking skin. Like, I grew up in a trailer house. There's lots of shit that was talked to me, but no one ever said, "You white piece of shit." Like, no one ever called me that. But I'm pretty sure people have called my wife a Mexican piece of shit or an illegal or all this other fucking bullshit. Like, it's asinine.
Yeah, I get you.
That's white privilege to me. That's the definition.
Here's the thing between me, I don't dwell on that shit. I fucking don't dwell on that shit. I fucking forget it. You gotta forget it, man. And you fucking live a life that they can't even read it. Nobody can read it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, she doesn't.
You gotta live a life nobody can read it. Because I'll tell you what, one of my bad days, you'll fucking cry in one of your bad days. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of my bad days make anybody cry. And I've had some fucking rough bad days, man. Some hard bad days. But I tell you what, like, I believe it. Like, I get it, dude. But you can't. Hate is toxic.
100%. No, I agree with you. And you can ask Derek. You can ask Derek and Lane. My wife is the saint of all saints. Like, she is the nicest person on the planet, and I'm thankful for that because she's made me a better person. Because I do get angry.
If you practice hate with one person, you're gonna practice hate with a lot of people.
100%. Dude, that's preach that shit. Preach that shit.
So it's the truth. Like, you're gonna practice hate. And I fucking used to hate people, dude. I felt like fucking fire came out of my fucking breath.
Darth Vader,
That's
dude.
how much I hated people.
Go back to Star Wars.
No, for real, dude. No, I've had
anger.
Keep going, Doug.
No, hate like that much. Like, no, for real, dude. I fucking hated one person. I cursed that person so bad. I just remember just being so fucking heated. Heat coming out of my ears and fucking. I felt like fucking fire was coming out of my breath. I'm like, and I cursed her, like, you know, it was my ex. And I told her straight up, God forbid, but this is the last time I go to jail for your stupid ass, for you lying to me, lying to them. But either God takes revenge for you or me. And when I got out of jail, I didn't do nothing about it. But you know what? God took care of her real good because it did. That's another story, though. But, you know, hate is just so fucking strong. And, like, a lot of those people looting, they're not hating people. They're just doing that shit for the fucking fun and the thrill of, like, the thrill, you know?
They're doing it for, like, likes on TikTok videos.
For the fucking, the rush. You see that shit, you know?
What's Chase laughing about now?
Shorty's screen was frozen the whole time. I thought he was there. I thought he was there, but he wasn't moving, and I was like getting kind of freaked out. I was like, "What?" I thought you were daydreaming really bad.
Lane, are you there?
Hey guys, but you know,
sure.
Doug, I appreciate that perspective, dude. Like,
I thought you were like in a trance. I'm sorry.
I was. It's okay.
All right. Last topic. Toilet water is
Wiser.
cold.
Hey, first of all, cheers.
Cheers, motherfucker.
Everybody's fucking camera. Cheers. Yeah, my niggas. Yeah.
Vodka. Pure vodka.
Fuck that.
That is not pure vodka. Hey. No way.
So, Lane, let's ask you, Lane, when are we gonna have our first return back to your studio?
Dude, I don't know yet. Okay.
Be a bitch. Let's wear masks, disinfect shit, let's do things clean, and let's go out there.
No, like, I don't want to wear masks.
I heard next week.
I want to give it a couple of weeks because Omaha just reopened. You know? We'll see what happens.
Omaha's a slut. You can't. Omaha's a slut. You gotta go. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Omaha is a slut, but
trust me, I'm pretty sure that you've raw dogged some sluts in your day.
I tell you what, we keep it clean, 6 feet apart. We're good.
Who hasn't?
Hey, I got a question.
That's misogynistic, Lane.
Yeah.
I have a question. Good question.
The question is,
what is everybody doing Saturday?
I'm golfing in the morning.
I work till fucking 3 or 4.
I'm pretty sure.
15, maybe.
I think I'm golfing with Derek, actually.
I'll be golfing probably with James in the morning.
Are you guys gonna fit us in for a tea time or what?
The last time I golfed. Okay, so listen to this story. So last time I golfed with Derek, we were drinking all day, obviously. And our cart worked a lot better than his dad's cart. So every time we drive, we almost rear end them.
Well, I was getting up on their asses every time.
So on 18, we finish the round, and we start going down towards the clubhouse. Well, halfway down this hill, I was like, if he doesn't slow down, we're going to fucking tip this fucking thing. So I started bracing myself, and sure enough, he almost rear ends his dad, slams on the brakes. We go sideways, then whip all the way back around and flip the fucking cart right in front of the clubhouse.
Oh my God.
This poor lady was right in front of us and saw the whole thing.
You guys get kicked off?
No one from the club saw
we were done golfing.
So Derek can attest to this. If you think that I'm not a compassionate person, the first question out of my mouth was, "Are you okay?" Not like you're a fucking asshole.
That's a normal question. That's a normal question.
So,
are you okay, you fucking idiot?
Yeah, exactly how it went. And once I knew he was okay, I had to get out because I could not stop laughing. I was like, I was like, how the fuck? I've never been in anything that's flipped over, dude.
I gotta ask, how much you want to James, that'll keep coming up in my lifetime forever. But the 2 or 3 times I know Jordan's tipped a golf cart.
I've never been in the cart with him though when he's tipped it.
He got one. He's gotten multiples now. Stuck in water.
Well, he should have died one time, and that's not even a joke about it. Like the one at Terra Hills where he fucking went down into the ravine. Like if he didn't bail out, he would have probably died. There's no doubt about it. He destroyed a golf cart. Golf carts are no joke, man. I mean,
are they fast?
They're not fast, but they go 20 miles an hour. I mean,
that's fast for a golf cart. Yeah, small. It is fast.
And if you tip one too, that's a lot of weight because they're just a big old metal block basically on the base.
That was what I was worried about when he tipped it. Is the tops they just snap, and it's like 1,000 pounds of pressure. If it would have hit him anywhere, it would have fucking.
Yeah, it went slow-mo for me. As soon as it started happening, I was just like, I'll tell you exactly what went through my head was, I need to tuck my hips in because when James lands, I don't want him landing on my hips and like breaking something. So I got myself right in the third position, and sure enough, your ass came in right at the fold of my body, pretty much.
We almost had sex. Is essentially what he's saying.
We did briefly.
Hey, Chase.
That'll be the first time.
Fucking lame.
Chase.
Hey, no Maha this year. No Maha this year.
No Maha.
I'm so sad about that.
Yeah.
Me and Lane and Derek fucking rage at Maha.
Yeah,
And
it's
Maxwell.
like
What's that?
the best, and Maxwell. It's pretty much the best weekend of the year, you know?
Where?
August 17th, usually around that time.
Well, fucking invite me, dude. I ain't racist.
No, it ain't happening this year.
Well, fucking hey, dude, let's go. Dude, here's the thing. Here's the thing, bro. Like, I'm open minded for everything. You guys are this cool. You guys gotta go to California, man. You guys would fucking love California.
I love California.
Hell
I've been
yeah.
to California.
California.
One of my best
Yeah.
buddies lives in San
Who's been out
Diego.
there? Chase, have you ever been down there?
I've been to Cali. A few
No,
times.
He's been
You
to
guys-
Oregon.
you guys
But
gotta
I
go
have
out.
been
No,
to-
you guys gotta live the nightlife, the night fucking life. You guys love that shit. Fucking, there's bars by the
pork
beach
and bottle
fucking
Saturday.
there's swimming suits and shit.
It's the only
What's up
time I've
to know about
ever
that shit?
solicited illegal drugs was in California.
It's like the
That's a lie.
given free drugs when you get off the plane in California.
Right.
Yeah.
Welcome to California. Here's your drugs.
You get a
Dude,
a Viking in
I
a
went
That guy's ass at the airport.
So I went to California.
Here's
one
your
time, and
drugs. Don't be
You can
arrogant.
walk. You know what's really crazy? You can walk down the street and hit your water bong like it's nothing now.
What? Walk around with a water
Yeah.
bottle.
Yeah, if you got the right
I'm
card.
telling you, because I did it. No, for real, dude.
recreational
I
marijuana
was-
is legal.
So
in
listen to me. I was like in California with my cousin, and I forgot it was illegal in It was legal in California. I forgot it was legal. So I'm fucking hitting that shit. And I'm hiding that shit. And my cousin's like, "What the fuck you doing?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, it's legal." I'm like, "Oh yeah." Just fucking hitting that shit right down the street. Water bong, a water bong, like down the street. You think it's legal, dude? You can hit it. Like, oh yeah. So, dude, you can hit a pipe, let it joint. It's legal, man. It's like whatever you do in your fucking house, you can do it out there.
I mean, it's California. They don't give a fuck.
Hey,
That's what we got to do around here, you know?
anything's legal as long as you don't get caught, right?
Yeah, isn't like mushrooms and
Yeah.
shit legal in California nowadays?
No, in Denver.
Yeah,
Denver.
Colorado, Denver. Yeah, Colorado.
Oh, it's Denver.
I knew they were voting on it.
No, it is.
So, what,
They
so who can get
decriminalized
mushrooms?
it.
I want to try mushrooms. I want to try mushrooms.
Well, let's talk
Fuck
off.
that.
Let's talk off screen.
We'll talk about it later sometime. Some other time, guys. Some other time.
I've
Sorry,
never
I'm from
had
California.
mushrooms in my life.
I
Me
think
neither, me
I think
neither.
everyone should. I think it's the most religious experience you'll probably ever have, honestly.
So help me help you get me some mushrooms.
I don't like
No,
it. I don't
Right
like
now.
it.
Let me be your
Good man.
pastor.
From you.
I mean, while you're at it, let's get some DMT, peyote, LSD.
So, hey,
Let's just go down
you
the
guys,
gamut. Let's
yeah,
run
you
down
guys
the
listen to that.
rabbit hole.
so I have been
You
meaning to
know-
ask
you
you
know
guys
what?
this. I've been meaning to ask you guys this. Do you guys fucking listen to Joe Rogan when I guess Marilyn Manson was working for the CIA? You know that, or working with, or was a guinea pig for the CIA?
He was again experimented on. Didn't they give him
Isn't
drugs and some shit?
So the story was that the CIA was giving him free drugs and pretty much monitoring him, and so that motherfucker is probably not crazy. He's probably a smart guy behind bars talking the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's demented for sure, though. A little bit.
Who? Manson? No.
I don't know.
Marilyn Manson.
I don't know, man. I don't.
No, that dude.
I don't
think so,
That
man.
guy's more.
He's
Wait,
he's
Charles
smart. I think
Manson.
he's
Charles
smart.
Charles
Dog, are you
Manson's a
talking
murderer.
about Charles Manson?
Oh, sorry, not Marilyn Manson. Charles, my bad.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Hispanic. You know how that goes.
I was like, Marilyn Manson's a genius, dude. I mean, I don't like his
Charles, man.
music, but he's
Yeah.
fucking very
Charles,
smart.
Marilyn
yeah,
Manson's
neither Marilyn
insane.
Manson.
Charles Manson.
Charles,
Candy.
he's working for the CIA. He was working for the CIA the whole time.
Yeah, there is that conspiracy out there. I have not looked.
No. It's not a conspiracy. It's the truth. You got to look into it. It's the truth because I got one in Joe Rogan that wrote a book about it.
Joe
It
Rogan
explains
does
the whole-
perpetuate a lot of conspiracy, though. I
No,
will
no, no. You gotta listen to this one though.
Joe
It
Rogan's
makes sense.
really good at not saying no to a conspiracy, but not like promoting it or whatever.
Yeah, Joe Rogan makes millions of dollars of perpetuating conspiracy.
He knows how to talk about something, but not necessarily condone it. Or
right. Well, I mean,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. I heard about it before even Joe Rogan to make things better. But I heard about it, and then when I heard about Joe Rogan, I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Doug, don't worry. I don't think you're crazy. I've heard the connection to Manson and the CIA before.
Well, they made the whole Netflix thing off of him.
It doesn't surprise me though, because I believe John Lennon's killer was related to the CIA or had connections to the CIA.
Who? Say that again, William.
John Lennon. John Lennon's killer. Mark David Chapman.
Well, I mean, you can go down the row. I mean, like JFK was probably killed by either the mafia or the CIA.
Robert
or the Cubans.
Yeah, but Robert Kennedy for sure was assassinated by the mob or whatever.
But I heard the Cubans were there watching the whole thing too.
But the Cubans don't have power. It's the Illuminati in America that has.
Here we go.
I threw the word out.
No, but you know what? Here, for sure.
Am I on mushrooms right now? Can I?
A mobster said an ex-mobster even admitted that the Chicago mob had involvement in that shit. So.
See right there, Josh Romberg fucking knows what we're talking about.
He's a Chiefs fan. Go Mahomes.
Fuck you.
Romberg's a Chiefs fan?
His kids are. They got a Mahomes jersey on.
It's easy to be a Chiefs fan right now.
In that picture? Right there?
Yeah, that's Mahomes, and then he's got a Super Bowl shirt on.
Well, he may not be. That's his wife.
I think that's his short-ass wife.
Either way, they're Chiefs fans. Or his wife wears a pants in the family.
Why is it easily accepted that you can make fun of short people, Lane? By the way, you're short just like me, so.
Yeah, but I'm not as short as you.
Bullshit.
You guys are like the exact same height.
We're the same height. That is me.
Yeah, I probably weigh less.
That's also true. Like 30 pounds less.
Where's Chase?
I don't know. He just disappeared.
I think he was watching porn on his phone.
He's back. He's back. Hey.
He was watching Chasey Lane.
Dude, I'm getting nailed. I'm getting fucking... hey guys, I'm getting nailed because fucking posts I put up on Facebook. Holy fuck. She's going left and right. Everybody's fucking hitting me up.
I know, Doug, you're causing controversy on our page. People were talking shit to you on our page.
It's all good. It's all good. Fuck it, dude. Is it bad or good?
I'm going to go to Cork and Bottle on Saturday. You fucking idiots. Cork and Bottle.
What is
okay? Go ahead.
Hey, is it bad?
It's a bar in Dundee.
Lane, is it bad or what?
No, I don't care, Doug.
That's all I wanted to tell you.
Cork and Bottle.
You've been talking shit on me?
Yeah, patio beers.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
If anybody wants to go.
Saturday
afternoon.
Where we're going?
Fuck off, Doug.
Where?
All right. Can we bring the show to an end, or are we going to continue?
Yeah,
I was leading up to asking.
Keep talking, bitch. Keep talking. No, I'm just kidding.
Does anyone have any more trash talk they need to say? Anyone else trash talk anything? This is your opportunity.
I'm good.
I think I've done it up today, so I'm good.
So Maxwell moved into my neighborhood, which is awesome.
He moved? He bought a house?
Fuck that motherfucker. Yeah. Who the fuck is that bitch?
He is kind of a bitch, though, but I love him.
I would say,
I'm just kidding. Who is it?
Quit fucking pretending like you are some sort of social justice leader. Everybody sees your bullshit. Crawl back.
I don't want to hear you be scared. I don't want to hear you be scared, D. It's okay. Just breathe. It's all good, buddy. Don't be scared now. It's just me.
What is happening?
I don't know.
No, I got nothing to say, guys. But
I want to
thank
Good night, Doug.
Everyone for showing up. Doug, thanks for showing up late. Josh Romberg,
Yeah.
thanks for commenting, and Knutson and Jolene.
She's a hero.
Jolene, for sure.
Haters, hey,
All these people, Kel's Church, and everyone. I love you guys all, but fuck Chase.
Peace. Hey, nice.
Don't
Hey,
fuck
guys, take
Chase.
care.
Chase is a good
Yeah,
dude.
right.
He's a funny ass motherfucker. I'd laugh at his shit.
Peace, bro.
Good night,
I
Omaha.
don't care. Fuck me.
Deuce.
I'm
Good
still,
night.
I'm
Bye.
still a peace.
Stay safe.